In the ancient land of Khorasan, centuries ago, there ruled a mighty king named Shahzada Mir. His kingdom stretched from the snow-capped mountains in the north to the golden deserts in the south. His palace in the capital city of Zarkin was said to be built with bricks of pure silver and doors studded with emeralds the size of fists. Amir commanded legions of soldiers. Fleets of ships and treasuries overflowed with gold coins minted in his own name. Poets sang his praises. Merchants bowed at his feet, and enemies trembled at the mention of his name. Yet beneath all this splendor, Shahzada Amir carried a secret wound that no crown could heal. Years earlier, in his youth, Amir had been a just and God-fearing prince. He prayed 5 times a day, gave charity openly, and sought Allah's guidance in every decision. But power changes people slowly, like poison dripping into sweet wine. As he ascended the throne after his father's death, advisors whispered that true kings rule by fear, not faith. They convinced him that showing mercy was weakness, that Allah's laws were for commoners, not emperors. Gradually, Amir drifted away from Sunnah, stopped listening to the Quran, and began to believe his own greatness. He taxed the poor heavily to fund lavish feasts, imprisoned scholars who spoke against injustice, and even ordered the demolition of small mosques to build hunting lodges. The people suffered in silence, but their whispers reached the heavens. One fateful night, a terrible drought struck the kingdom. Rivers dried up, crops withered, and famine spread like wildfire. The people starved while the king's granaries remained full. In the dead of night, a humble farmer named Hassan, whose family had not eaten in days, stood on the palace walls and raised his hands to the sky. "Ya Allah," he cried, "if this king has forgotten you, do not forget us, your servants. Grant us rain, grant us life, or take this tyrant away, but do not let the innocent perish." That dua, pure and broken-hearted, rose like incense to the throne of Allah. The next morning, something strange happened. Amir awoke with a sharp pain in his chest. The royal physicians gathered, but none could diagnose it. It was not a heart attack, not poison. It was something deeper, as if his soul itself was crying out. For the first time in years, Amir felt fear, real fear, not of enemies, but the one who controls life and death. That night, alone in his chamber, he fell into prostration after years. Tears, he thought, he had forgotten flowed freely. "Ya Rab," he whispered, "I have wronged your creation. I have turned away from you. If there is any good left in me, accept this broken servant. Forgive me, guide me, and save my people from this curse I brought upon them. I am ready to lose everything. Just do not reject this dua. Ameen." He did not know it then, but Allah, who answers a call to distress when they call upon him, accepted that plea instantly, but not in the way Amir expected. The next day, Amir summoned his viziers and announced he would distribute all the stored grain to the starving villages. The court gasped. "Your Majesty," protested the chief advisor, "this will empty the treasury. The army will revolt." But Amir's face was calm, almost serene. "If Allah wills, let it happen. I have seen enough of my own arrogance." The grain was sent out in caravans, and for the first time in months, children ate bread. Rain clouds gathered that very evening, and a gentle shower blessed the land, the first in months. The people rejoiced, calling it a miracle. Amir smiled quietly, knowing it was the beginning of something much larger. But the real test was yet to come. Word of the king's sudden change spread like wildfire. Some rejoiced, others suspected trickery. Among the nobles, a faction led by the ambitious General Qasim plotted in secret. Qasim had long coveted the throne. He saw Amir softening his weakness and decided to strike. One moonless night, soldiers loyal to Qasim surrounded the palace. They burst into the throne room where Amir was praying tahajjud. Swords drawn, they declared, "The king has lost his mind. He gives away our wealth. We install Qasim as ruler." Amir stood up slowly, unarmed. "If this is Allah's will, I accept it. But know this, I have repented, and my dua is in his hands." The soldiers hesitated. Something in his eyes, peace, not fear, unnerved them. Qasim stepped forward, smirking. "Take him to the dungeon. Tomorrow he dies." As Amir was dragged away in chains, he raised his hands once more. "Ya Allah, you accepted my repentance. Now accept this. If my death brings good to your deen and your people, let it be. But if there is still a purpose for me, show your miracle. I put my trust only in you." The guards threw him into the darkest cell. The door slammed shut, and silence fell. The kingdom waited for dawn, the day of execution. But Allah's plans are never predictable. At midnight, a violent earthquake shook Zarqin. Not enough to destroy the city, but enough to crack the palace walls and open the dungeon gates. Guards panicked, thinking the end of the world had come. In confusion, Amir walked out unchained, as if guided by an invisible hand. The earthquake stopped the moment he stepped into the courtyard. Lightning illuminated the sky, revealing a strange sight. Qasim's own tent had collapsed, crushing him and his chief conspirators under rubble. The loyal soldiers, seeing this, fell to their knees. "This is no natural event," they whispered. "This is Allah's wrath and mercy combined." Amir stood in the center of the chaos, untouched. He raised his voice. "People of Khorasan, I was a tyrant, but Allah has forgiven me. He has shown me that no dua of a repentant heart is rejected. Come, let us rebuild with justice and taqwa." The twist deepened. As dawn broke, messengers arrived from distant borders. A massive enemy army, the dreaded Tartars, had been marching toward Zarqin for weeks, planning to invade while the kingdom was weak from famine. But the night of the earthquake, the Tartar camp had been hit by a sudden flood from the very rivers that had dried up. Thousands drowned or fled in terror, believing the land was cursed by their god. The invasion was averted without a single sword drawn by Amir's men. The people now saw it clearly. The drought had been a trial, the king's repentance a turning point, the earthquake and flood twin miracles. Amir's dua had not only saved him but protected the entire nation. Yet the biggest twist was still hidden. In the weeks that followed, Amir ruled with humility. He returned seized lands to the poor, rebuilt mosques, invited scholars, and sat with common folk to hear their grievances. But one evening, as he walked the market in simple clothes, he met Hassan, the farmer whose dua had started it all. Hassan did not recognize the king at first. When Amir revealed himself, Hassan bowed. "My lord, I prayed for rain and justice. Allah gave both through you." Amir's eyes filled with tears. "No, my brother, I was the oppressor. Your dua pierced the heavens when mine had grown cold. Allah used your plea to awaken me. It was your call that he answered first. Then he answered mine to the chain of his wisdom." Hassan smiled softly. "Then we are both witnesses to the same truth. Allah does not reject any dua. Sometimes he delays, sometimes he gives better, sometimes he protects us from what we don't even know is harm. But he never, ever rejects a sincere call." Word of this miracle spread beyond Khorasan, to Baghdad, to Damascus, to the courts of distant lands. Travelers carried the tale. A king fell, repented, and Allah raised him again, not with armies, but with earthquakes, floods, and softened hearts. It became a legend whispered in madrasas, recited in gatherings, and remembered whenever someone felt their dua was unheard. Years passed. Amir grew old, his hair white, his back bent. On his deathbed, surrounded by his sons and the faithful, he gathered them close. "My children," he said, "remember this always. Power blinds, but repentance opens eyes. Never stop making dua, even when the world seems against you. Allah said in his book, 'Call upon me, I will respond to you,' and he never breaks his promise." With those words, he breathed his last, his face peaceful like a man who had seen paradise already. After his death, strange stories emerged. Villagers claimed that on the anniversary of the earthquake, gentle rain always fell, even in dry seasons. Scholars wrote treatises on the dua of the repentant king. And in the hearts of millions, the lesson burned bright. Allah ka Mojiza harwak mumkin hai, jab dil esi pakar jay. And so, the story of Shahzada Amir teaches us till today, Allah kisi ki dua ko kabhi rad nahi karta. He may test, he may delay, he may give something far better, but rejection? Never. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss these soul-stirring tales of faith, miracles, and hope. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their dua is being heard. Allah is listening. Always, Jazakallah khair.